Welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival, and we're picking up this video on the bridge of my capital vessel. We're down on the planet that I've been exploring for, well, I think the last two videos. And if you're wondering why everything looks slightly lopsided, that is due to the fact that one thing I'm finding with exploring this planet is that trying to find somewhere for the capital vessel to land is very difficult. And so what I've actually had to do is explore this planet with a combination of the capital vessel and the SV. Now, I'll just start with an update of where we are on the planet. You can see I've uncovered a lot of it and wandered around. I found quite a lot of destroyed shelters, hongos, engine compartments, capital vessels. I've found a big pile of those as well. But as for the resources are absolutely awesome. You can see I've only found 12 out of 22 estrum, and I've completely mined out some of them. And now my ship is currently starting to get a bit overloaded. There's still pentaxid to find. I've got another, well, 6 deposits of promethium to mine. So I'm probably going to have to spend a little bit of time here picking up the resources, but there's no real challenge. So I think this is a good opportunity now to start pushing forward with building my carrier. At the moment I'm parked next to a debris field which I want to loot down before we leave and go up into space and start building. But before that I need to do well, at least one thing. And if I come into here, what I need to do is make a couple of T3 extenders for a capital vessel. Just make sure it is a capital vessel. These take a little while to build, so this is why I'm kicking them off now, because the first thing we're going to need to do is extend the toaster to tier 3 level, which if I come in here and show you on here, get a CPU stats, that would give me a build level of 1.5 million. I mean, there's a very real possibility that we may be going to 10 million eventually, because the carrier is going to be a very big ship. And of course we're in the middle of the night, so what I'm going to do is we're just going to sleep through the night. The bed's up here. We up. And I think I can go out the tradesman's entrance here. Oh, the other thing I've also done is, if I can show you in here, we go to main. I've made some ammunition for my tank. Thank you, game. I always wanted the storm. So here's the debris field, and what we'll do is we'll just hook up to constructor out. Use the easiest way. Now I could core this and get the blocks, but at the moment I'm just going to do. Oh, that's one thing I have forgotten. No, that's one thing I have forgotten to do. I want to use the small constructor. I want to make about 500. Let's make about 600 steel blocks, get them underway as well. Because one thing I'm going to need in this part is really large numbers of blocks. Although I'm a bit worried about making too many, because the ship may not get off the ground, and that would be embarrassing. I think we'll just pick up as much of this stuff as possible. Take that out. Well, we could sweep this area here. Now there are creatures around, so I've got to pay a little bit of attention. Oops. Yes, while this planet doesn't have any really major hazards, when you're out collecting, you can get ambushed. In fact, I was quite happily doing this on somewhere else on the planet, and I actually got attacked by an assassin. And I actually nearly got killed. I'm just gonna, I don't know what that is. That's a steel block destroyed, so take that. That. Whoops, don't really want concrete. I've had to put the jetpack on as well. Yeah. And we're get rid of the turret as well. Just clear off. I mean, the loot quality in A debris field isn't spectacular, but it's worth it. And I think if we just undermine this, we might be able to get all this in one go. I don't have to pick everything up individually. I could hear a creature close by, or is it my own footsteps? There it is. That. Oops. I think we'll just take this out as put this into food. Pumpkin. Absolutely, those P things. I've got absolutely no idea what any use those are. And that can go into raw food. That's the ingredient of pizza. Not worried about that. Whoops. Oh well. We've got here. I think we'll just do this in a quick way. Not worried about the alien materials. I think if I can undermine this, we can get this in one go. Oops. Ow. That went a long way. Hopefully we'll be able to get these before they disappear. Boom, 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 boom. I wouldn't know too much about that. I'm just going to jump up in here. I don't think I can get the fuel out of here. Let's give it a go. 197 is not too bad. Oops. Oops. Should have checked that. Oops. Okay. Got some education. A little bit more power. Oxygen. Can we get anything there? 170. It's not big enough to. Okay, that one's empty. Oops. Well, put that into player. I've gone through a really large amount of multi-tool units. So every one of those is much appreciated. I think we'll do it this. Another way to take these apart is just to go around and take out this bottom layer. And then what it would do is it would just collapse in on itself. So just take out that corner. You always get one block stuck there. So, whoops. Then we can just take the base apart. Plant fibre there. Not that I really need it, but and just grab these. Is it worth chasing him? Yeah. And I don't think there's anything in here that will actually give me loot. It's just more of the same. One of those. Here's the block. take the last lot out. Nearly there. And that's about it. This base here is concrete, and I'm not particularly that interested in concrete, simply because I've got piles of crushed stone, and which I've actually been turning into ingots again. I'm just going to come into here. How's the food situation? We need a bit of food. And there's something else I need to kick off. How's the... let's see. Where is it? I never find oxygen. I want to... I've picked up my water generator, so I want to get two. So I want to make about 20 of those. Because if we're going to be building out in space, we're going to go through a lot of oxygen. And the other thing is food. So I'm really getting a bit low on food. I just want, so before we leave, I just want to check the farm, see what's going on. We don't need the multi-tool anymore, because I could make some multi-tool charges. Well, we got some there. Let's get into here. Pick that up. Don't harvest that anywhere near enough time as I normally do. So we'll just grab that. Pick that up. And that should be everything from there. And get into. Oops, I put it all in constructor out. So we'll just put everything like that in constructor out. We've got a little bit of sorting out to do. Raw food. To get that sorted out. Put that in as well. Sort this through. Put that. Oops. That can go in there. I think the rest is just... Right, we've now completed the CPU extenders. How many blocks have we got? We've got 220 steel blocks. I'm going to need more than that. Constructor in, we'll just put that there. And if you see here the estrum, I mean, I've got, what's that, 4, 8, 12, 16, nearly 18,000 estrum at the moment. And that gives you an idea of the amount of estrum that's actually on this planet. I've got 3,000 solid steel plates, electronics. You can see I've picked up the water generator. We've got some titanium rods. So I've solved my titanium rod problem. I think we'll just put that there. And I think just come here. And what I want is, I'd love to get some combat steel blocks, but so we're going to start with, a couple of hundred of these as well. In fact, go for 300. Turn the power on and let's get up into space before my ship won't take off. And I'm just going to go straight up into space. Now, while we're going up into space, I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this video now. What I want to do is lay out the foundation of my carrier. And of course, we're going to use the toaster as the basis of the start. What I'm going to do is give a bit of a warning for any of you guys who may get a little bit annoyed in the next rest of this video, because I'm going to be completely upfront. I'm not one of the best builders. I'm pretty indecisive, but to try and combat that, I've actually put together a quick sketch plan. So from now on, if you hear the occasional rustle of a bit of paper, that's me looking at my plan. I spent a bit of time measuring this CV because what I want on this carrier is to have the ability to carry the Pioneer on a landing deck. Another possible point for carrying a second CV, I want an area to hangar deck so that I can put my SVs in and they're going to be protected from attack. And I also want a hover vehicle hangar as well, because one of the things you've got to remember is to dock a CV to a CV, you can't have other ships docked to it. Yeah, so that is what we're going to be doing. Ships orientated. I'm going to go back down to the... Definitely going to need some food before we go outside. And because we're in space now and mass isn't such a big problem, what I'm going to do is... this is steel blocks. So we're going to add some more steel blocks. We're going to add another 200 steel blocks, and I think we're going to press the here, and we're going to put in some a couple more hardened steel blocks. I mean, it's going to drain away my resources, but you can see I've got so many resources here, it should be okay. And right, let's just sort this out. Construct it out. We're going to need the hook for this. Not the hook. Right, what we're going to need is this hooked up, and put that in there because we need that straight away. Oops, and then we're going to better eat something. Have a pizza, actually, to make some food while we're at it as well. I mean, we got loads of grain, so I think we're how much salami have I got? I've only got 28 spices, but I think we're go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll make another 5 or 6 meat burgers. And out into space we're gonna go. Now what I want to do is deploy the toaster, but I want it to be reasonably close to the Pioneer for 2 reasons. I want to stay in range of the remote access, plus I would like to have the Pioneer in the background so that I can use it for a scale comparison. Actually, I want to go this way, isn't it? Because I want the toaster to be the front part of the carrier during this construction phase. So yeah, that's actually the right way round. Let me just... Why am I on a different orientation? That's a bit annoying. Right, we're just going to get forward. I think about there would do. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to spawn the toaster in. Now I'm aware that many of you are going to look at the toaster and say, why on earth is he using this? I mean, it's probably one of the naffest ships in the workshop, but I actually quite like it, and there's 2 reasons why I'm actually putting it in. The first reason is practical, that I wanted a fully functional component that could possibly fly my construction. Now I'm aware that this has got nowhere near the power to pull a big carrier, even in space, and the top speed of this thing isn't particularly high on a good day, but it will serve its purposes. Plus it's got a lot of key components in here which mean that I can pull them out and put them into the carrier. And the second reason is simply down to the fact that if I'd made a CV starter block, and when you just deploy it in space, I always kind of feel a bit intimidating and sit there and think, well, how am I going to start this? And I found that working off something like the toaster just gives you that little bit of encouragement to build from something rather than starting from just a 9-block square, because what we're going to do is build off the back of this. So we're going to have to do a little bit of preparation. Now, one thing I will say about the toaster is this can be a bit dodgy. You can see you've got thrusters that come up through the floor and items like that, so be aware that this isn't the best ship. It's not particularly that efficient as well. And I think if I show you the CPU, because when I made this, it was put in the Alpha 10.5 update, so you can see it's not even CPU compliant, but that's not a problem because we're going to have to put these in anyway to make it super CPU compliant, because we've now got the 1.5 million we got there. And what I'm going to do is jump in here. I don't know if it will actually it may not level. I'm going to put a bit of tiny little bit of fuel in. Toaster fuel. I want to put some fuel in because what I want to do is actually orientate it a little bit. And why did it do that? Is that because I think that was because it was just adjusting to its. I mean, it had no power on. I think it was just adjusting to its new CPU status. I mean, to be honest, the message flashed up so quick I couldn't read it. So we've now got that orientated the way it should be. We're just going to jump up again now. And I don't want to leave the power on because it's just a waste of time, power. And the next thing I want to do is make a few modifications to this just to make life a little bit easier. So we're going to press T, go to 7. First thing I want is this hangar door, because I want this open so that I can build from it. And then the next thing was we're just going to take these walkways away, and we're going to take away these half round blocks on the top here, like that, and down the side, just to open the back of the ship up. In fact, I could probably take the lot off actually, just so. I mean, this is simply just to give me a square joint to build back from. You can see so we'll just take the back of the ship off like this. Of course, it's giving me more steel blocks. See all the thrusters in here, all stacked up, not exactly built according to the new compliance. Let's just turn the light on. It's probably a bit dark. I mean, and there's some half blocks here which I wanted to get rid of as well. And I suppose no, we'll just leave the toast on the top for the moment. So we've now got a platform to work from. I mean, I'm not going to need the heavy landing gear. I think we'll just salvage that off as well. Because one thing about this carrier, it is never going to land on a planet. This is going to be purely a. So effectively, what I'm going to be building is a. What you could almost call it a mobile space station. I mean, I mean, we're going to give it the weapons to defend itself, but it's never going to. It should never really get into combat. So we've now got that. So everything looks fairly tight. I'll just turn around to orientation. So we're now ready to go, and I suppose probably what I need to do is explain the basics of building large ships. If I come over to the MCRN Pioneer here. Now, Jeff Randall's done a fantastic job with lots of extra decoration on the outside, but the truth is, when you build really large capital vessels, what you do is you start with a box. I mean, if you actually look at the hangar, here's a box. So the core of these ships is a box. I mean, it's very much the same as if you set out to build a cargo ship in real life. I mean, if you're building a bulk carrier or a container ship is effectively a big floating box with an engine room tacked on the back, a bow on the front to let it cut through the water, and a few other bits and pieces put on it to give it the shape of a hull. So building large capital vessels in Empyrion was exactly the same principle. So what we're going to go here, let me do, well, I suppose I better get into here, MCR2 parent to there. Constructor in, constructor out. Right, so I'm going to pick up the steel blocks, and we've got about 800 steel blocks. We're going to go through a lot of steel blocks to start with. Right, some more there as well. We got just over 1,000. And what I want to do is start off by building a single line out. In fact, what I need to do is what was it? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because what I want to do is build a hangar deck, which will be the core of the ship. So let me just come in here. The first thing I want to do is if we put that there. Then we got 1, 2, 3. That 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. Actually, so that could go a bit lower. So I've made a mistake straight away. Right. What we're going to do is change to there. Put a hardened steel block there. That should be hardened steel. Make sure. Yeah, that's hardened steel block. We'll take this one off, retrieve this one. And this is 1, 2, 3. So what I need is this to be. I'm being a bit extra careful here simply because this is going to be the core. Didn't mean to do that. Because 4 blocks is going to be the interior height of my hangar, and it seems to be the best distance to be able to bring SVs into a hangar, maneuver them and land them, especially reasonably large ones. So that's the reason why I'm setting up 4 blocks. Right. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to come here, and what I'm going to do is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what I'm going to do is 10. I'm just going to put that there. What I'm looking is the approximate length of this ship is about 35 blocks. So what I'm doing is measuring off a length of floor, which I can then use. So, and if I do it in blocks of 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that, I mean, this gives you an idea of the scale of what this ship's going to be. Let's just check. The length I'm looking for here is 37. What's about the halfway point? It's half of 37, 19, isn't it? So technically, that is 19 there, isn't it? Around there. So that's roughly the halfway point. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 30 blocks out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is roughly the length of my hangar. And I mean, it's difficult to gauge it with the perspective to that capital vessel, but according to my calculations, that is the length I'm going to need to be able to land my CV onto here. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is pick up a symmetry plane now, which is going to be fun. So we're just going to come here, just rotate you a bit, and then press N, get the symmetry plane. Oops, cancel that. I want the block on here. Now we'll put the symmetry plane on. And now, when you're building a ship, you've got 2 choices of whether you go for odd numbers or even numbers. If you go for odd numbers, which is to be honest, my preference is that what you get is a single spine down here, and you put the symmetry plane through the spine. If you go for an even numbers of widths, the symmetry plane goes down the seam between two blocks. But I prefer an odd number because you often get better shapes from it, because you can build from the single core. But it's pure choice. I mean, whatever you want to do is, you know, whatever you want to do. But what I suggest is that when you start a big project, you decide odd or even, and then stick with that throughout the build. Because if you start mixing odd and even widths together, what happens is you often end up with chunky transitions. Sorry, I couldn't say it. Right now, the width of the hangar deck is going to be 11 at the bottom. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course, because we now got the symmetry plane on, so that gives me the width of the hangar deck. Just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now comes the fun bit. This is an option which I absolutely hate, but and that is using the control key to, and it's done it straight away. This is one reason why I don't really like the control key, because it does that. Of course, with the symmetry plane, you duplicate your errors on both sides. We're gonna have to take it out this side as well. Well, at least we got one small row in. I think it's down to the orientation. It's if you get your orientation right, it works. Let's see, let's try again. What I tend to do is, that's better. And what we're going to do is, that's 5 blocks wide. Now you probably can see what the reason why I spent a little bit of time getting that, because you can really build this in really quickly once you've got that central spine operating. Is that 5? Yep. Yeah. And we can do that. So we've now got you can say the floor of our hangar, and what I'm going to do now is we're going to come up to here and we're going to put in the upper layer. Oops. Now when you drag out rows like this, I think it does 11 like that. So, and of course this is going to be the upper hangar deck where the CV will actually land. That's why I'm using the hardened blocks, because where this deck will be inside, this one will be on the exposed on the top, which is going to come out here. Let's see. I don't think that's quite out there. I'm going to come up that way. Probably not going to leave that. So that's the upper deck. Now let me just check my plan. This upper deck is going to be slightly longer than this one, for a reason that I want the upper deck to extend beyond the hangar, because what I want is to have a room this way, and I think I calculated this to be about 40. Is it 40? Wow, we're going. What's this? This was 37, 38, 39, 40. Let's go 42. Well, this doesn't have to be exact. I mean, I will change it over time. because that's the way I build. And what I'm going to do now, this upper deck's got to be a bit wider than 11 blocks, because if I come down and show you here, if I go under here, the distance between the landing gear, if I can find the landing gear, on this ship is about 13 blocks. In fact, the landing gear is retracted, so can't see it. Anyway, so how can you lose such a big ship? Oh, there it is. So what I'm going to need to do is make this. I'm completely upside down, aren't I? Let me just orientate right round again. I'm going to come in here. Again, we're going to have some fun here. Now, I'm not going to go to the full. Yeah, I can go to the full 13. So what's that? That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 13 blocks, isn't it? Well, we'll go 13 anyway. Of course, what I'm going to have to do now is do this again. I'll put this in here. I'm getting the hang of this. I mean, to be honest, I can trim all this back anyway. Whoops. Oh, didn't quite go according to plan. Let's readjust my angle a bit. There you go. I think I'm the master of the odd blocks scattered all over the place. And I'm just going to come to here. Come out one more. That one block. I'm just going to put in the. I mean, this is not going to be the final shape anyway. This is just. Ha! What happened there? I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I thought I'd filled in this corner, but we'll just do it by bands. And of course, why isn't this thing in? And I've just thought of another reason for using the toaster is that when you're building big ships like this, it's very easy to forget what the orientation is. So having something like this out front reminds you of what's up and what's down, if that makes sense. So we've now got that. So if you imagine the toaster is the front of the ship, so we're building back towards this one. I think what we're going to do is just get in here, just tidy up my mistakes, get into here. And of course I don't need this structure now. This can come out. So we've now got the upper deck and the lower deck, and we should have a 4 block gap between the two of them, in theory. And if I show you here, you can just see the difference in height. Now, this is where things might get a little bit tricky. In fact, I need to get in here and constructor in, and I need to make something. Let me see, what do I need? I want to put some storage in. Now, if I remember correctly, is 240,000 storage is 30 blocks, but I need to make some what we call it, some controllers first. I don't want ammo. I don't want that one. Where's this one? Where's the one for the capital vessel? I need 2 of those, and I need 30. So I need about 90 ordinary blocks. Just make sure I build the right one. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, there's some blocks in the toaster which I can take out as well. What I'm thinking is, oops, getting a bit of radiation. Take this storage out because I don't need it in here. I will be taking various items out of here as I do the build. So we got that out. Yeah, what I'm thinking is putting 3 lots of 240,000 storage under the hangar deck. 2 reasons. One is this is going to be valuable space, so I don't want to waste it. And also, well, it's just a good place to put it because it strengthens the underneath of the hull. Let me just do a bit of maths. This is 37 blocks long, starting from the toaster. If I put these in 3 by 10, so we'd have 3 blocks of 30 along here. From 37 leaves 7. We're going to need 1 between the 2, so that takes off. So that leaves us with 5. I think what we can do is we'll just put steel blocks here. So we're going to put. Oh, come on, game. When you're building like this, it's not a time to get a little bit of stutter. I can assure you. So we're just going to come out like that. That's probably a bit naff, but well, it's going to be is what it is. So constructor out. Let me see. I've got 3 controllers. We're still punching out these things. So why is this not? You are definitely building things, aren't you? I haven't run out of resources, anything stupid like that. No, it's still knocking them out. It's just I should have built those ahead of time. Never mind, that's the way it goes. We've got enough for 1 module there. So what I need to do now is lay out this storage. So I'll be going 2, 3, 4. Put a controller there, and then back to there, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll just put in like that. And what that should do, if we come in here, actually devices, I'm just going to use auto group just to keep on top of things. We've now got 2 controllers. One is inside of the toaster, which is the one of 32,000. And if my calculations are correct, this is 240,000. Okay. And what we're going to do is just put in, I think we'll just put 3 blocks there. And then I'm going to put in, I need some more. Yeah, this is not keeping up. So what was it again? 1, 2, 3, 4. Controller. Controller, please. Not. And then actually, let me just go along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just put in a block there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm hoping that this is going to be right. And of course, by doing it this way, it's also a good use of the floor space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a bad guess, is it? What we're going to do now is come there. And what we need to do now is just fill in that. I think while the rest of those containers are being built, we'll just take a look at what I'm going to do here. And okay, I seem to keep losing my orientation. I don't want a flat bottom here. what I want is something that's going to, how can you say, give a bit of character to the ship. At the same time, I want to be able to put some gun platforms on the bottom here as well. In fact, I think what we're going to do is, do I want a row of hardened? No, we're going to have to go hardened steel blocks, but I don't have many hardened steel blocks left now. I got 56. We're going to have to go over to the... I'm going to need some oxygen anyway, so let's just get rid of that. Are you still producing hardened steel blocks? Oh, yeah, brilliant. One of the problems when you kick off the constructor remotely, it goes to the default one. Let me see, hardened steel blocks. Let's knock out. I mean, I should be able to knock out another. Let's go for 600 of those, and we'll make a couple more. Actually, cancel you and go into here, and we'll just knock out some more all these steel blocks. Just do about another 400. I've got loads of steel plates. If I run out, I run out. That's all there is to it. Block of oxygen. I mean, it would be really embarrassing to die of lack of oxygen whilst building a ship, wouldn't it? So. And I think, let me just see what we got. Storage here. I need a shape. What I'd like is a bit of a V shape here. I mean, one of my favourite characteristics is you could say a 3-block combination. So I think what we could do is come here, and that's the start of. So we come through like that. Let's just do it side by side. I think we can do these in steel blocks like that. Just, I can't overlay these just yet, so we'll just put in, you could call it the keel of the ship, is using a nautical term. So that way we got the bow, we got the stern here, and we're laying in the keel. And hopefully we would have got all the, here we got 48 of these now, so what we can do is lay in those. We got a few of these in like that. In fact, we can probably put all of them in now. And just put the steel block there. There, and we can come across like that. That would give me a keel of 3, like that. I thought that can't be the midpoint. I've lost the midpoint. That's annoying. I mean, the midpoint's got to be somewhere around here, isn't it? Because we've got 2 blocks 10. That's 2 blocks 10. This was 3 blocks 10. So if you come there, the center is going to be roughly about here, isn't it? So we got the blocks there. Now, what type of shape do I want this to be? We got it. It's going to be a bit uniform, isn't it? I don't really like that as such. me think. Sorry. Apologies for me being me. That's too wide. That's too wide. That's too deep. Actually, let's just. I'm gonna put a line of these on. These are hardened blocks because this will be the outer shell of the ship. So we'll put a row of these in. It's done it again. So that's giving me the beginning of the V. Then take that back like that. So, and we worked out that the center is roughly about here, and we'll be generous. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't get an exact center. I'm thinking. I think I would like to get 3 turret positions down here. Let me just put these in. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's the front of the ship. So this go that way. So let's put a turret position there. And of course it's got to be 3 by 3. So to take the turret, we'll probably put cannons underneath so that we can protect the ship from below. So we got that area there. Just had a sudden thought, can I land my capital vessel on the top of this? Now let's work a little bit on here. Now I do have to, let me see. We got a turret position there. See if we can work up a design or something for here. We're gonna have to work in hardened steel blocks. Let me see. If I let me just try something. I mean, I want a pattern here. Let's just try this. If I put, so if I put in one of these every other, like that, put a few out. No point doing too much because of course we're duplicating it on the other side. That's like coming down 1 width. This is 2 widths. We put hardened steel block there. Let me see. Now to duplicate that position there, say we do something like that. I mean, that's the beginning of a pattern, isn't it? And then if I put in, this is going to have a block next to it as well, like this. Like that. I don't think that, I don't know, can we live with 4? Yeah, I think I can live with 4. So if we put in, let's say a line of blocks like that, underneath like that. Just to fill this gap in. I mean, it's going to be a lot of blocks, but it's certainly going to make the bottom a little bit tougher. So say we got something like that. But that's going to come in a little bit closer, isn't it? I think what I'm going to need to do is just work on a profile here. Let's just put some. Is that? Wait, there's always find it difficult to... Am I put these steel blocks? Annoying. How annoying. I thought I was working with hardened steel blocks. I thought, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, if I put in put them say like that, and then just to keep the theme going, you say we put something like that, and then in that narrow gap there we put in something like that, and I could put another row of steel blocks in here. Wow, I'm going to take up a lot of steel blocks. Bearing in mind that this deck probably could become a little bit wider, I may need landing pads on the edge here to guide the ships in. Right, let's just oops, just build this section here and see how it goes. Well, put in some more blocks like that. Oops, finger twitched. We got that there. Oops. Maybe we'll just build that in like that. That in like that. That brings that out there. What we'll probably have to do is replace these blocks with hardened blocks. Give a bit of an edge. So that can go in like that. Does that look okay? It kind of gives a ribbed effect. This is rubbish, isn't it? It's the one that was the wrong way round. Okay. Well, I have to change that. So that gives a ribbed effect to there. You can put this finger twitched again. Question is, how am I going to finish off this? That out. So I have to take that one out because it's wrong. It's going to make this a bit wider, and I'm not happy with that. This is, what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4 deep. I think I'd rather have it 3 deep. Annoying, which means I'm going to have to take off some of this stuff and start again. I think I'll do that off camera because it's going to be a bit tedious. I've just noticed the time, so I think maybe this will be a good point to stop so that I can fix my mistake down here. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.